Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, you know, I'd say unbelievable if it wasn't so believable, if it wasn't so constant and unsurprising. Remember when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high? Well, obviously there was no merit to that statement. The left taking the high road? I'll believe it when I see it. No, they always go low, and just when you thought they couldn't get any lower, just when you thought they couldn't sink any lower, in comes Jasmine Crockett on CNN to prove you wrong. And the timing of this is just disgusting, with Charlie Kirk's funeral literally happening as I'm recording this video. And only a few hours after these statements were made, Jasmine Crockett shows up on national television and uses that moment not to condemn political violence, not to stand for unity, but to smear him as a racist, and to condemn people in her own party who voted for the bill that memorialized him. And just think about that, folks. This is the person that so many young Democrats are telling you represents the best of the Democrat Party.
Jasmine Crockett, I love her. She is amazing. People want to see somebody who fights and calls out the bullshit, and we need a hell of a lot more people that are out there that are willing to do just that.
Well, let's take a look at this inspiring young Democrat, shall we? Obviously, you can sense the sarcasm. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this is what we're dealing with.
One of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart. When I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. It is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So if there was any way that I was going to honor somebody who decided that they were just going to negatively talk about me and proclaim that I was somehow involved in the great white replacement, yeah, I'm not honoring that kind of stuff, especially as a civil rights attorney, and understanding how I got to Congress, knowing that there were people that died, people that were willing to die, that worked to make sure that voices like mine could exist in this place. So to me, just like we wanted to make sure that those Confederate relics were taken down, the idea of a new age relic being propped up was something that I just could not subscribe to. And it is unfortunate that more of my colleagues, even on my side of the aisle, could not see the amount of harm that this man was attempting to inflict upon our communities.
Again, exactly like I keep saying, these people cannot even muster the basic human decency to say, hey, somebody was just assassinated for their political views. And you know what? That could have been one of my colleagues. That could have been me. And that is wrong. But no, instead they go right back to the same old tired smear. It's either racist, 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 or Russia, 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 right? It's the only 2 frickin' plays they have in their playbook. How utterly disgusting to demonize and slander somebody who was so senselessly murdered. And you know what? It has me thinking about Melissa Hortman, because the left keeps invoking her name, right? Even though they're lying about the context in that case. Well, when Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed, what happened?
I want us to point out the hypocrisy on the left again over just what happened yesterday, or Friday in the House of Representatives, when you had Melissa Hartman, the state representative that was assassinated. A resolution came forward. The entire House unanimously supported to condemn and to honor the life of her. Condemn the assassination and honor the life. That same resolution with a name change said Charlie Kirk. What happened? I want to point this out, though. You had 58, but I want to point it out too, because hypocrisy for both sides on the free speech needs to be pointed out, because the same resolution that had Charlie Kirk's name on, you had 58 representatives vote no, 38 voted present, 22 chose not to vote. That is silent. So you had 118 individuals that didn't condemn it because why? Because of hypocrisy over both sides.
The House voted unanimously to condemn political violence and honor her life. Nobody on the right gloated. Nobody threw insults. We questioned the narrative that Democrats were spewing, that this was a MAGA ambush, which it very evidently is not, at least based on whatever information we have so far. But now with Charlie Kirk, this was an overt political assassination, and Democrats, 58 of them to be precise, voted against condemning the assassination. And the apparent justification is, well, he was a racist. He did so much damage to people of color. Like what? You know, again, these people just speak. They just say these disgusting, gross things without any evidence, without any proof. Just make the statement, make things up. As long as you're speaking about somebody who's on the political aisle, it doesn't matter if it's accurate. Charlie Kirk was a despicable racist, she says. Well, I find that a little bit interesting, considering Dr. Martin Luther King's own niece, Alveda King, recently came out and defended Charlie. She's saying outright that these accusations are false, malicious, and insulting.
As a woman who survived the assassinations of my uncle, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my father, Reverend A.D. King, and my grandmother, Mrs. Alberta Williams King, I know all too well the impact of this kind of cowardly act. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and now, while his family and this nation grieve, some are calling him a racist, a white supremacist, even a fake Christian. Such accusations are conversations unbecoming to a Christian. In the final analysis, Charlie stood for life, for faith, and for biblical truth. He wasn't afraid to say the name of Jesus in the public square, and he paid a price for it. Now is not the time to attack Charlie. It's the time to lift up the banner of Christ. As a member of the one blood human race, Charlie Kirk did. His legacy of public discourse, of bringing difficult conversations to the table mattered. He caused us to think and to pray. Charlie has gone to meet his maker. May he rest in peace. May we honor him today by praying for his family and by answering this question: where will you spend eternity?
And if anybody knows what real racism is, it's her. This whole Charlie Kirk was a racist line is not just wrong, it's absolutely slanderous. I think Scott Jennings' response to Jasmine Crockett really hit the nail on the head.
Well, she's lying. I mean, Charlie Kirk targeted nobody. He was not racist in any way. I've listened to hours and hours and hours and hours of Charlie Kirk debates and talks, and have been with Charlie Kirk and did events with Charlie Kirk and knew Charlie Kirk. There wasn't a racist bone in his body. To say that he was continuously targeting people of color is nothing but a malicious smear on the very day people are remembering Charlie and he's going to be laid to rest. And so I think we need to combine the no votes on the resolution, and then you look at the leading Democratic voices like Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett, who've gone out to smear Charlie before he's even had his funeral. When I hear people say we need to come together and both sides need to turn down the rhetoric, a lot of the people saying that need to look inward right now. I was shocked at that. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm shocked by her, but I was a little stunned by what happened this morning.
He said it perfectly. Charlie Kirk targeted nobody. He wasn't a racist in any way. And I feel like Scott Jennings is really speaking for me because I as well have listened to hours, hundreds of hours of Charlie Kirk. There wasn't a racist bone in his body. And it's so clear that Jasmine Crockett is wrong here. You could tell just by how Dana Bash was sitting there speechless, unable to push back. For Dana Bash not to be pushing back on anything any Republican says on her show, especially in such a contentious moment between Democrats and Republicans, well, that's how you know these people are wrong. They're plain wrong. And again, what we're seeing from Jasmine Crockett and frankly the entire Democrat Party is once again their strategy of weaponizing racism as a political tool. It's their shield, it's their sword, it's their excuse for everything. You don't like Charlie Kirk's arguments? He's a racist. You don't want to condemn his murder? He's a racist. It's absolutely pathetic, it's dishonest, and frankly, it might even be evil. Charlie Kirk was murdered for his political speech. An innocent man was gunned down, and instead of showing even an ounce of grace, instead of uniting against political violence as they constantly attack Donald Trump for not uniting the country, Jasmine Crockett and her party are still smearing this man in death. That tells you all that you need to know as to who is really dividing the country. That tells you all that you need to know about the modern left and their future leaders. These people will stop at nothing. They will never stop lying. They will never stop slandering, never stop dividing. And it's why people need to stand up and walk away from these people. Just absolutely disgusting. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.